Every boot has a message, doesn't it? Not just the colours, but Honda there with the initial ones, and all in for 2014 as well. As we get back underway, Japan must start positively, must try and grab a goal, and then we could have a game again. Brazil, by the way, unchanged. But they won't remain that way, I'm sure. As David Luiz clears it away. Throw taken by Leandro Castan. Just a shove in the back by the new man Shakai. Must be so hard to keep motivated if you're Brazil, especially with club commitments as well. But they know as a unit they must keep doing this and grinding out results and keeping fresh and focused for 2014.
Well, I think, you know, Mano Menezes at any one time could probably pick three very good squads, and I think it should speak for itself really in terms of the competition that's there. And I think if I was part of that Brazil squad, if only, I'd be thinking, you know, that there's a couple of guys just waiting to step in here any second. So I think that's there all the time, and that purpose about them, that application should always be there from the players because of that.
Here's Castan. And Neymar so confident in just drifting out wide and taking up that position and going for goal. Oh, it was a nasty deflection, but in the end it took it wide.
But again, you know, that's that position he loves to pick up on the left-hand side, and he did it against Iraq where he stepped inside and curled a beautiful goal into the far corner. That time, deflection got in the way, but you know, that's what he loves to do. He loves to drift in from the left.
Talking of beautiful goals curled into corners, guess who's taking the corner? Swung deep by Oscar. Oh, and taken by Neymar and deflected it. Oh, he didn't catch it at all. It's desperately unfortunate. It might even be an own goal. But whoever it's credited to, Brazil lead by a very convincing 3-0.
Yeah, and just watch Nagatomo. I mean, he makes the first mistake here. He just gets caught underneath it, the ball goes behind, and of course it's a big deflection that Kawashima can do nothing about. But Nagatomo, you know, is badly beaten to it, and it comes off
Hasebe.
Yoshida. I think it was just inside that near post, but Nagatomo could have dealt with that. He misjudged it, got underneath it, and Japan have paid again.
Plenty for them to celebrate. And even in Poland, you can find a sombrero. Well, the goal's been credited there to Neymar, we shall see. And it's probably not really going to matter in a friendly international, but it'll matter to him. And it means, if it counts, that would be 7 goals in 4 international games for Neymar.
I think what they like to do, Dave, don't they, that if they think it's on target to begin with, and it takes a deflection on the way, then they usually allow it to stand for the guy taking the shot as opposed to an OG.
This is positive again from Japan. Trying to get Inui into the game. And that was a misjudgment from Diego Alves and bounces behind off Leandro Castan.
Well, it was. I mean, sometimes you don't get away with those, but that was a mistake from Diego Alves. Shouldn't have been even looking at that.
Honda's been very, very lively, and here he goes again, and there's a measure of whether it's your day or not. Deflection, but didn't take it goalwards.
Yeah, and could it have been dealt with between Oscar and Leandro Castan on the edge of the box? Probably should have.
Good ball again there by Honda. Great feet from Kagawa. Well, they deserve to have pulled the goal back here.
I thought that was in. I must admit, I can't believe it must have just whizzed past the post. That's really good movement and a lovely little ball to find him, and then he's got the trickery to do that, and it's through legs again. That's again, extremely unlucky. That should have been a very quick reply from Japan to go 3 behind. And I think you can see from Menezes, he's unhappy that he just thinks with 3-0, it's all just gone a little casual at the back for Brazil, and they're not closing it quickly enough, and he's got a point.
We've answered a few questions about whether Honda and Kagawa can play together as well. There are the makings of a very good partnership there. And of course, really good players and clever players are able to work it out between themselves, aren't they?
Exactly.
There's Sakai. Full of energy. Really good tracking back by Oscar. So rarely makes the wrong decision. Thiago Silva just brought it out calmly and did the right thing.
Well, it's no surprise as to why PSG paid all the money they did to prize him from Milan, because he is one of the best in the world.
Yeah, he's in a very select few in terms of central defenders. Vincent Kompany would be in the same bracket probably, but there aren't too many others who are up there. Of course, he didn't want to leave Milan, but the offer was so good that they couldn't turn it down. That's how the story went anyway. I think Ibrahimovic would have taken a bit less prizing away. Of course, you do get the chance to still regularly follow the journeys of Thiago Silva and Zlatan Ibrahimovic's old club, Milan, and also the new one, Paris Saint-Germain, here on ESPN. It's played into Neymar. Oh, and it's given away. I think Kaká couldn't believe his luck.
Well, he should have made more of that. Again, Japan made problems for themselves, and well, it's just not right for them at the back today.
Honda. Kagawa. It's a fine challenge by Thiago Silva, but still alive for Honda. Can they force it through? They can't. Just kept in by Neymar for Kaká. So many options, Neymar, and tried to find Paulinho. Now Nagatomo. Kiyotake.
I think the reason we've seen flashes from Kagawa's second half is because he is playing more centrally now, and I think that suits him far better. I think he was a bit isolated in the first half, playing on the left-hand side. You know, he did drift in occasionally, but to actually have a position in there, in fact, at times he looks like the striker now. The hand is just dropping a little bit off him, but you know, that's his cup of tea.
I suppose if you are going to try things, this is the place to do them. Friendly matches, but it does seem strange that Kagawa gets to play in his preferred position at a club the size of Manchester United, and then, despite the presence of Honda, not for the national side, which he is arguably the biggest star.
Yeah, and we wondered, we were talking half-time as well, Dave, about, you know, potential substitutions. Japan had to make a couple. Uchida was struggling. They needed a little bit more up front, and they've done that. But, you know, we could well see Brazil now with players headed back to their clubs, of course, for weekend's games. We could well see quite a few changes from them coming up, and they certainly made some against Iraq.
Well, it'd be good to see Leandro Damião. I know you haven't seen much of him, and he's a fantastic centre-forward. Changes the way this side plays a bit as well. He's powerful. And Lucas Moura, the player who's going to light up Ligue 1 come January, to name but two. Marcelo, of course, is out for around about 3 months with that ankle injury, which will affect Real Madrid far more than Brazil. Picked up by Ramirez. Little tug of the shirt. He showed those yellow cards in the first half. I think Connor would be fortunate to escape there, and he is going to escape.
Well, you know, there's an innocent look on his face, and I think he claims he just nicked the ball there. I think that's what he's saying to the referee. Does he get a little piece of it? He does, you know. And it was a slip, really, from Ramirez then. I think the referee's been rather kind to Brazil there.
It's a fantastic ball in, a cute header back across, and just a sign that Brazil can do things in different ways. A little bit more direct there, and Neymar did so well to get on the end of it, but just couldn't direct it goalwards.
Just watch, as soon as the ball goes over his head, Leandro Castan gets it back. You know, he's in there looking for it. And Yoshida made it very difficult for him to get anything, control that goal. It was just kind of a stretch, but it's very, very good movement, and he almost got there again.
Yeah, that would have been some finish for the hat-trick. Honda. Space again.
Inui first touch, really poor. Just got a bit excited.
Now Kaká away from Hasebe. Here's Neymar. And still he goes. He's such a silky runner. And he tried one trick too many, but he's won himself a free kick. And Brazil might just have an option or two at this.
Yeah, it was Hasebe was the one who gave the foul away, and as the referee has just indicated, there was a tug on the shirt, but you know, he's taking the mickey out of Yoshida just ahead of him, and there was a little pull there which held him up as Kono tried to come out. It's kind of showboating a little bit now, because you know, Brazil are just playing at their leisure.
I think it might be Hulk to take over here with his power.
You do not want to be in a wall with Hulk. You just hope he gets it high or wide and it doesn't hit you, because for me this is the most powerful left foot in the world.
Yeah, set piece wise he's taken over certainly from Roberto Carlos, and unlike Roberto Carlos, he gets them on target occasionally. Hulk, here we go, it's Hulk! Deflection and post, and honestly it could be 5 or 6, and still might be with over half an hour to play. Leandro Castan. So eager to get on the ball, they're getting in each other's way. Oscar. There's Hulk. Paulinho. Prepared to take their time. Now Adriano getting involved. How impressive has he been today? And Ramirez to hit it. And he has to get back now. Kagawa. Now Honda. Every time they counter, it always seems to drop at the feet of Kaká. Now Hulk, as Kaká spreads the play. Half a brilliant turn from Oscar.
Yeah, I mean, he was looking for the free kick in the end. I think the referee's got that one right. He was trying to con the referee, Oscar, and it was a lovely little flick back inside, but He went down way too easily.
There's Inui. Opens up here for Kagawa, and then for Honda. Excellent defending. Yeah, they want a penalty.
Yeah, it's Honda. He just felt he was tripped by Adriano, who stuck a foot out. It's hard to say whether Adriano got anything on the ball. This is a lovely little ball to find. Honda didn't get anything on it, and there's probably a little bit of contact. For me, not enough. Not enough. I think Honda is looking for it. I think it would have been a cheap one if the referee had given it.
Yeah, it was a bit of a sprawling dive, wasn't it?
You tend to see a lot of that in the box these days.
If he'd stayed on his feet, he'd have had a chance of scoring still, but...
Yeah, and it was on his left side as well, you know, on his strong side. Honda.
Now Kagawa. There's Keisuke Honda again. And a new lease of life here, Japan. Take a deflection behind, it did. Nagatomo with the run. This is that free kick.
Yeah, it just came off Inui. He was just basically standing in front of the goalkeeper. He knew very little about it as well, and I guess fortunate for Japan and unfortunate for Brazil.
Hajime Hosogai of Augsburg replaces Hasebe. There's that goal again for Neymar that took that big deflection. But will probably be credited to him. It's been impressive the way that Brazil have dismantled a very good side here. This will be up there in terms of their recent friendly wins, particularly if they can add a couple to the score. It's one thing beating Iraq 6-0, but this is quite another.
Yeah, and I mean, I mentioned that it's not the most difficult qualifying group for Japan, but they're in there with Australia, who have a very good record, of course, as well. And all the Aussie lads were very impressed with the Japan side they faced down under when they ended up drawing 1-1. You know, Japan are a very good side and should stroll through that group. So I guess this is a bit of a knock to their belief and feeling that they might have hit a better standard than they have.
Japan can break again here, though. At least they could until Thiago Silva got involved. Now Oscar for Kaka. What was that about taking the mickey? Here's Neymar.
It's almost like a training session at times.
Flag was up, not against Kaka, but against Leandro Castan. That's what happens when you try and get left-backs involved in attacking play.
Now, take it easy. I think he just wasn't conscious of where the defensive line was, Leandro Castan. But, you know, Kaka looks as if he's enjoying himself. We know since he went to Real Madrid it's not worked out to his liking, nowhere near the player we saw at Milan. But he's got lots of freedom, lots of good movement from him, and he's seen lots of the ball as well. And he's been very effective in this Brazil lineup.
Of course, the question that still remains, not just about him, but about Brazil, is, and we won't know the answer really until 2014, is they look great with the freedom, but are they strong enough to win the World Cup? Has Kaka still got it when he's up against Germany or Italy in the semi-final set? And is this defence good enough as well?
I think one of the hardest things, you know, as from once the World Cup begins, particularly, they're under a lot of pressure now, but the pressure will rise 100-fold once the tournament kicks off.
But I think for now the job is to maybe remind fans that it's about enjoying it as well, and they can support one of the most enjoyable teams to watch in the world.
And the referee's just given another soft decision which upset the Japanese players to Brazil then, and I think he's had a little bit of a Brazilian bias today. I think it happens sometimes. You look after the superstars much more than the opposition.
Well, that certainly looked like a foul. He struggled to get into the game, Inui. Flashes of excellence, certainly. Just wondered if he's really known what position he's supposed to be playing out there. Here's Sakai. Always impresses me when I see him. Energetic right back, Sakai. Again, the movement, Jim, is excellent. There's Honda.
I think he's played very well, Honda. I think he's gotten himself involved, and here he is, not giving it up, trying to chase back and help out.
Hulk for Neymar. Good bit of defending momentarily, but I think it might be, well, Ramirez has got on the end of it, but the flag is up.
It's a goal, isn't it? I think he's given a goal kick. I think the officials feel that
the ball drifted out. Okay.
I'm not sure about that at all. I mean, Ramirez certainly felt it was a legitimate goal.
What I was wondering was, did the cross bend back itself, or Ramirez got on the end of it?
I didn't see much curl on it, but, you know, maybe the replay will prove me wrong.
Anyway, no goal. Space here, an opportunity again for Japan. It's Honda on that left foot, but again, straight at the goalkeeper. I must admit, I'm looking forward to the replays of the goal that was just disallowed. Here we go.
How good is this? I mean, this touch is too strong from Neymar, but I think he keeps it in. That's not gone out. It's not curled back in. I don't know what the assistant's thinking of there. I think that's a perfectly good goal. And it's brilliant from this fella. I mean, it looks as if it's a dead end. He's managed to keep it in. It doesn't leave the pitch for me at any stage, and how the assistant can flag for the ball having drifted out, I do not know.
Well, it would almost be impossible for it to have drifted out, wouldn't it? If anything, it's curling back towards the goal. It's not coming out towards Ramirez, so a strange one there. I think they've been deprived of what would probably have been an irrelevant fourth, but still a fourth.
Yeah, if it was 0-0, I think it'd be a much bigger issue, let's put it that way. I think Brazil, I mean, you could see that a couple of the players were protesting, well, namely the two involved, Ramirez and Neymar, but ball was back in play quickly, so they're just getting on with it.
And Ramirez, of course, deprived of an international goal as well. He has 3 to his name. Sort of thing that would niggle at the end of your career. Ramirez, say, ends with 9 international goals. When someone asks him in years to come why he didn't get double figures, he thinks of that wet day in Poland in that friendly match.
Well, if anybody's going to get on the end of something like that as well, it would be Ramirez. I mean, we always remember that, you know, wonderful goal he scored for Chelsea in the second leg at Barcelona last season. He is a brilliant athlete, and he can make the ground up like that and chase lost causes, and I thought he did ever so well, and I think he has been robbed.
Kiyotake to take the corner. Fascinating that, isn't it? 8 corners to Japan. It's just 1 for Brazil. They play with that width. Thiago Silva with the header.
No surprise to see Endo take the skipper's armband from Hasabi when he departed the pitch. Only got, this is 123 this today in terms of caps. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is remarkable. Gone above Masami Ihara in terms of Japanese caps leads the way with 123. Here's Leandro Castan. Defensive frailties, you see, but very, very good bringing it forward.
He is, but you know, even on that note, not as effective as Marcelo. And Marcelo is, and of course you got Diego Alves as well on the other side. I mean, Brazil are blessed with that kind of talent from the fullback positions, and I'd be surprised if this guy Leandro Castan ends up starting the World Cup.
I must say, good though the goalkeeper Diego Alves is, it'll be Dani Alves.
I do beg your pardon, Dani Alves.
Just before someone writes in, Jim, it's one of those. But he's good though, the keeper. He's very good with his feet, the keeper. Yeah. Fantastic again to bring the wide man into play, and here's Honda. They're going to cause a lot of teams a lot of problems, Japan, if they keep this upward trajectory and keep playing this way. The problem is, this is Brazil, who, for all that their star has fallen, it hasn't fallen that much.
Yeah, maybe Honda could have done a little bit better there and got it back to Kiyotake, who took up a good position just behind them. The problem for Japan in this game, Dave, is that, you know, they went 2 goals down pretty early on in the game, and effectively it was, you know, as good as over. But we know they're spirited, we know they're plucky, and they'll keep going. But I think they're kind of the confidence high after the win in France. I think it's kind of hit a bit of a brick wall today, because they've come up against far superior opposition, and I think even though they've been doing well defensively of late, they've not looked good at the back today.
And the key thing to the game was that Brazil burst the bubble early in terms of that confidence. There's Thiago Silva and David Luiz. Only half cleared really by Nagatomo.
That's an interesting one as well, just watching it, the 2 centre-backs at times. They seem to kind of just change position, just depending on what little sequence has just gone by. And I think against, as you were talking about, the bigger sides in the world, I'm not sure that would go down that well. You know, David Luiz and Thiago Silva just kind of swapping positions at times. That's you know, that's not really the done thing among centre-backs.
Here's Kaká. Neymar, still on a hat-trick. They've done everything, and I mean everything, but score a 4th. Can't get much closer. Perfectly good goal disallowed. Hit the post twice. Missed an open goal. Somehow you get the feeling that their finishing won't desert them when it matters at a World Cup. It's at the other end where the worries might come.
Yeah, and this was the little one. I'm just looking at Take, the position he'd taken up, and he was appealing for it, and he's gone for the spectacular. Very difficult on that. And probably if he'd looked for a teammate, then it might have paid off.
Kagawa. They certainly deserve a goal, Japan. They very nearly had one on a couple of occasions. You see Zaccheroni, who can't be too broken-hearted at this performance, and he'll have liked the spirit, I would have thought.
Listen, his players will have learned a great deal about, you know, this quality they're up against today. It's all about, you know, gearing towards qualification, and then of course beyond. And I think a good learning curve for a lot of them, particularly the younger lads.
Here's Sakai. Final 15 minutes here in Poland, and really entertaining and also fascinating game. Dominated by Brazil, but Japan have played a large part as well. Well, that wasn't a particularly clever ball, and it was well read by Paulinho, and here's Kaká with options as well. Going to go on his own though, Kaká for 4! Well, it's hard to say they don't deserve a fourth, and once again it was Brazil on the counter. And once again they chose the right options and took the chance and finished off Japan.
Yeah, and very similar to the goal he scored against Iraq in the fact that he got in that little inside left position. Kaká was able to take it on his left side. He went near post against Iraq. This time he's able to go far post, but it all started because of a poor pass from Yoshida. Brazil nicked it, fed to Kaká, and once he got in position, I mean, there was little Kawashima could do. As soon as he's away from Yoshida, gets a little foot to it, but it was always destined with the pace behind it to find the corner. And I think this is a true reflection of what we've seen today now, with the scoreline being 4-0.
29th international goal for Kaká. Hulk to be replaced by Giuliano. Race for Dnipro. And another of these attacking players we're looking forward to having a look at. Wins his 7th cap at the age of 22. There's still time for this to turn into a hiding as well. Here's Sakai.
I just hope Mano Menezes gets a break now because I don't see an awful lot wrong with this Brazilian side. I mean, we were talking up Japan before and at the start of this game, and Brazil are just dismantling them with ease.
Yeah, even if you were looking to do a hatchet piece on Menezes, you'd struggle, wouldn't you?
Indeed.
I'm sure someone will find a way. As I mentioned, that game in November in New Jersey against Colombia, there's one they have to win. Oscar got a little bit of a kick there, which is unnecessary in the extreme, by Hosogai.
That's Japanese frustration. 4-0 down, just can't get the ball, and okay, it's not the worst out, but he is a little bit late. Hosogai.
Again, Oscar working hard and dropping deep. I think that's something people have been a little surprised by watching him at Chelsea. They expect this flamboyant player. There's much talked about Brazilian, but he has all of those skills, but he does work very hard.
Oh, you've got to. I mean, the game nowadays, they all have got to do their little bit getting back. You know, it just looks very exciting, doesn't it, from a Chelsea viewpoint, with Mata on form, and indeed Hazard. And Torres is firing again, and it's with Oscar there, he just seems to have fitted in beautifully.
Of course, remember the other day, Marco Marin hasn't made his debut yet. They signed from Germany. He certainly used to be a great talent. And he's slightly lost his way, but could still make an impact. Here's Ramirez as Brazil look to make an impact in the form of a 5th goal here.
That's what I've enjoyed watching about Brazil today. You know, that if an attack breaks down or they can't find that incisive pass early enough, they just recycle it, draw people out of position, and then there's a runner just in behind and they're at you again.
Field from Neymar. Another measure of just how seriously and important these friendly matches are is only one change. I think a second's about to come, but Brazil have treated this professionally, and notice that about watching them in friendlies. They have to think of these as little competitive games.
Well, it is almost like a training session now, and just a game of keep ball. Brazil just happy to knock it about and try and draw Japan out, just make them run, tire them even more. And it's been sumptuous at times, the little skills again from Neymar.
Were people trying to do that when you played? Well, some of these are newly invented, aren't they?
Some of them are. I mean, yeah, there's always been skillful players, but Brazil seem to take it on another level, don't they, when they do it? Something a bit more exciting about it.
Well, can Japan create some excitement? Not quite, and Honda had an option on his left there, but went for goal himself.
Yeah, his finishing has not been great, has it? He's gotten himself in some good positions today, Honda, but that left foot has not really delivered, you know, and he had the pass on to Kagawa as well.
Well, Kaká crowned his performance with this goal, Brazil's fourth. And as you intimated earlier, he may not be the player he was at Milan, but he's still got a lot to offer. And they still love it. Lucas, the man to replace Kaká.
I think he's been excellent today, Kaká. I mean, he just seems to have just played within himself and just found it very easy at his leisure, but very effective in what Brazil have done going forward.
Kiyotake. Now Honda. Again, Sakai getting forward outside him, appeals for a handball. And a first touch for Lucas Moura. Adriano. Neymar again with a fantastic take. Curling effort from Lucas. Given away, and again Japan in danger of just leaving themselves wide open. And the goals have come from mistakes.
They have. Their decision making has been poor at times today, and some of their passing has been quite sloppy. In tight areas like that, you can't afford, because as soon as it's nicked, then you're just on the back foot and in real trouble.
Well, how often do we see teams keep possession comfortably in their own third and then lose it in the final third? Japan has done the opposite today. The passing in the final third has been excellent. They made some really basic errors at their own end of the field. Osagai. Now Sakai did so well to dig out that cross and aimed in towards Inui, turned behind for a corner.
That's great running, and the thumbs up from the ball over the top as well from Sakai. Brilliant running from the fullback to get there and keep it in and keep that move alive. That's wonderful first time, and Thiago Silva had to be sharp.
It was excellent defending as well to not fall asleep. Another change, they're coming thick and fast now, this is the way of things. Neymar gets his ovation. He is a thrilling player, isn't he?
He's a great watch. He really is, Neymar. Okay, this is a bit fortunate because it takes a big deflection to beat the goalkeeper, but he was a threat. He was a threat all afternoon, Neymar. Great movement.
A different sort of player comes on, Leandro Damião. Only going to get 5 minutes. With all the little bits here that Neymar's done. And by the way, earlier on, I wasn't suggesting that players in your era weren't skillful, just that, not in that montage there, but he does one or two things and you just think, not sure I've seen that one. Little shuffles and shifting of the ball. Here's Lucas Moura.
Well, my attitude towards all of that, and probably as a defender you won't be surprised, is that as long as they keep the ball, I don't mind them trying all sorts of flicks. It's when they start giving it away, trying to do something silly or maybe too skillful, that's what can drive me a bit crazy at times.
Yeah, or if they do it to you on the opposition, they might find out about it. Well, they're still a work in progress, they're still a young side, but they are going to be a contender. Just wonder about top teams under pressure, with ways of finding them out, how good Brazil will be, but be a good journey. Here goes Leandro Damião, good first touch from him. And a very good bit of defending from Sakai.
Yeah, it was, and did you notice as well, he just had a little look around the shoulder to know that there was a Brazilian player just behind.
Not sure I see the value in all of the changes towards the end of the game. It's almost like giving away caps, I guess. Ramirez is withdrawn. And Sandro comes on, a familiar figure from the Premier League.
Yeah, well, the Village Boas will be just hoping now that there's no injury for the remainder of this one. Normal time and what's added on.
Well, they'll still be up against each other at the weekend. Big game for Villas Boas. Just a little point to prove for him, maybe. Spurs play Chelsea.
He's made a great start for Tottenham as well this season, Sandro. Ramirez might find it a little harder at times getting in the Chelsea lineup with the additions they've made.
One of the other things about Sandro that not a lot of people know is that a lot of charitable work back in Brazil, and he's one of those people you sort of see an interview or a profile of him and he clearly a great human being, top fella. Never forgotten where he comes from. Going to be another Japanese corner with a couple of minutes left. They must take heart from this performance. They've been outplayed at times and certainly outfinished. They too are a work in progress. Oscar, the latest to be withdrawn. Fluminense's Thiago Neves to replace him. Can they find a way through then, Japan? Good punch that from Diego Alves. Forward by Thiago Neves. There is still time for Brazil to hurt Japan again here. Lucas. Powerful Damião's in the middle. Lovely feet there from Lucas and watchfully defended.
Yeah, got away with that, Japan, then, because I just thought Endo was just left on his own to try and defend it. He needed support, he needed somebody else coming out behind him to just double up against Lucas.
Thiago Neves to take the corner then. Kiyotake is going to be replaced by Rio Miyachi, still at Arsenal, but on loan at Wigan. And we move into stoppage time at the end of the game. She making strides. Never a clever time to make a change as Thiago Neves swings it. Now Honda. And there's the offside flag.
That's an over-eager substitute, just desperate to get involved in the game this late and get a touch. And it's just a little step up once he's made the run from Leandro Castan. It's an easy offside decision. We shouldn't be too hard on Japan, I don't think, today. I think they've been totally outplayed by a superior outfit, and you know, they can only hope that they learn some lessons from this. Brazil, it's been a treat again to watch them, to watch their progress towards 2014. There's not too much wrong with what I'm seeing. You know, it's been great to watch. They're so clever on the ball, technically, all gifted, and the movement is just, it's magnificent at times, and it's very hard for opposition to deal with and contain.
And one of the other things that's interesting is that you could argue that previous Brazil sides that have disappointed have gone into World Cups overrated and even a little presumptuous. But this is a young and hungry team that, if it fails, will fail because of shortcomings that they know about, defensive ones maybe, but not for want of trying. There is a work ethic and a unity and a belief and a great deal of skill as well. And of course, Japan's defeat here doesn't mean they can't make the quarter-finals of the next World Cup. Might mean they'll struggle to beat Brazil in the final, but that's not maybe what they're aiming at.
Well, I don't think Japan will be organising another friendly against Brazil pre-World Cup. I think they'll want to keep that one well out of the way.
So one final chance maybe for Brazil in the shape of Lucas here. Fantastic running and deserved a goal. Did everything right by the finish.
Well, he knows it. You can see the annoyance in his face because he's just pulled it slightly. It's a lovely little step over to come back on his left-hand side. Now go on, find the corner. And it's just dragged slightly.
Well, the free kick and the last rights here for Japan. There is the final whistle. Brazil so convincing. Japan started well and they played well throughout, but it was the goal from Paulinho, then the penalty from Neymar. A lucky goal for Neymar just after half-time with a big deflection, and a lovely one for Kaká 15 minutes from time. It could have been a lot worse, Jim Beglin, and what we see from Brazil is exceptional.